All right, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master. Welcome back to another top 10 players to look out for coming in to next season of the Overwatch League. And keep this in mind, the title is very important. It's top 10 main sport players to look out for in the Overwatch League 2021 season. And keep this in mind, this is not a top 10 ranking video of top 10 main sports in the league. If that would be the case, I should say, this list would look completely different. I bring up way other main sports to talk about in this video. But what I did for this video, and also for my last video, a lot of people thought my last video was a ranking video. It was not. I was not ranking top 10 flex sport players. It is not that at all. Basically, I'm picking 10 players that is in that role that I'm actually excited to see how they will turn out next season. And please keep that in mind. It's just my opinion. I am grabbing 10 players that I personally am excited to watch next season. If they're going to be good, if they're going to be bad, see how they improved or got bad, and just see what they did all around coming in the next season. My hype for them, and just all around, like I said, what will happen to them. I do also want to keep this in mind. This also kind of goes with the last video, with the Flexport video. This list is in no particular order. Keep that in mind. There is no order here. No worst to best, no best to worst type of thing. I just found, like I said already, 10 players, and I just put them in this list and numbered them. Now onto the number 10 spot. The first player I wrote down, keep this in mind, there is no rankings, but number 10 is going to be Friday. And the reason I wrote Friday down is because I am interested to see how he plays. You know, Friday has been a main sport player that we were not really super hyped up about, someone we wouldn't pick instantly when it came to contenders. And I'm excited to see what he does. You know, MIXL, very different team, kind of built around Jonak this year, and they got Friday as their main sport, and he needs to live up to those Anamo levels, which who knows how that's going to go. Anamo's now in the Seoul Dynasty. Friday comes in as a replacement, I guess you could say. And Friday, like I said already, was not really the most known main sport player, so it becomes a shocker to see him coming into this team. And also, I want to see how he plays. I'm not fully educated on Friday. I've seen a few VODs and all that, but I want to see how he'll perform in the Overwatch League. I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Maybe he won't be that good. Maybe he will be super good and play really well beside Jonak and be that sleeper of a main sport player that we'd be surprised by, and I hope that is the case, but I'm very interested to see how Friday plays. Now to the number 9 spot. This is a player that actually gets a lot of hate, unfortunately, but I am very excited to see how he turns out. It is Jubi on the Houston Outlaws. You know, he's a player that comes from Collegiate, one of the first players that comes from Collegiate, and he's on the Houston Outlaws playing the main sport role. A lot of people think it was questionable, which I get it. I get where those people are coming from that see this as questionable, but he went through tryouts. There's Junkbuck and there's Harsha, great coaches, and they saw potential in Jubi. There's rumors that, you know, they need a lot of work with Jubi, but anything's possible. I'm looking at his streams. He looks good. He looks like a solid Lucio player, and I'd love to see how he performs on the Houston Outlaws beside Crimzo. It almost looks like a Jubi and Crimzo are going to be a solid duo coming into next year. They've already done some duos and ranked before, and they look kind of solid already. Obviously, it's a ranked game. We can't really compare it to scrims and all that. But I'm very interested to see how Jubi performs on this team. You know, we do have Houston Outlaws pretty low. At least a lot of power rankings I have seen is that Houston Outlaws pretty low. So I'm really interested just to see how, like, Jubi plays on this team. You know, he's not the highest rated main sport player coming into the next season, but he's also not the worst. A lot of people say he would be the worst, but I do not think he is. And I'm very excited to see how Jubi performs next year. Now on to number 8, a player we have not seen yet, but has been in the Overwatch League for a minute now. It is Mandu. He was previously on the NYXL. A lot of people thought he would start, did not end up being the case, and now he's on the Guangzhou Charge, and I am very interested to see how he plays. I'm not that fully educated on this guy either, kind of like how I have Friday on this list, but I did obviously watch the tournament where he played in with Kariv, you know, with the Seoul Dynasty, the Dallas Fuel, all of that, and he looked solid. You know, he didn't look insanely good, but he also didn't look super bad. Obviously, he had some questionable moments here or there in the tournament, but you know, he's coming in first time playing against those guys on a live match, not scrims. It's very different. Scrims and match are very different. So I'm just excited to see how Mandu performs. You know, it's the player we've had hype for coming in NYXL, didn't get that play time. Now he's coming to the Charge, and I'm very excited to see what he does now with this team. And also with the coaching staff. You know, Arachne's there. You have Neko there, who's a support player. You have Damon there. Very excited to see how Mandu comes out next year. Now to number 7, kind of like the same boat with Mandu, but a little bit longer. It is Neptuno. We also have not seen Neptuno play in a hot minute. He was on the Charge, couldn't get playtime because a lot of visa issues, of course. He got a few games here and there, a couple maps, I should say, with the Charge, but they weren't a lot to really impress anyone. But now he's on the Paris Eternal. We already saw him play in the Steel Series tournament. Not a lot to impress anyone off of so far. He still kind of looked the same when it came to his main sport role, but obviously anything could change. He could look better. He could even look worse, you know, of how Paris Eternal is coming into this year. So I'm very interested to see how Neptuno comes through. It's a player I'm excited to see just from him coming back. We have not seen this guy play consistently in a hot minute. It's been since the Philadelphia Fusion Season 2. So now let's see what happens. It's been a whole season that we basically have not seen him, and now he's coming back on the Paris Eternal, guaranteed to get that starting time, and I'm very excited for it. Now on to number 6. This guy is going to be a game changer, hopefully, for this team. It is Faith on the Boston Uprising, coming in over an upgrade over Halo, and also playing beside Myeonbong, which is going to be great to see Myeonbong play beside someone at such a high level right beside Faith. Very excited to see how this one comes through. I've seen a couple VODs of him as well, but I've seen only good parts of Faith. Obviously, there's some questionable things here and there that Faith can do. He's not going to be insane, but I do think there is some potential of that being near those top 5, maybe top 10 main sports in the league, I do think. So I'm very excited to see how Faith changes the Boston Uprising, because I think he'll do a good job of that. Playing beside Myeonbong, Valentine, and Stan1, I love to see what he does. Love to see what his shot calling, if he is a shot caller behind the scenes. Very excited to see what Faith does. Then on to number 5, I have Closer on the Washington Justice. We already saw some snippets of him already on the Washington Justice back in the open scrim for the Seoul Dynasty, and Closer instantly jumped out to me watching the full thing that he has improved by a lot since the Dallas Fuel days. His brig was really good, very impressive what he did on that open scrim, so I'm very excited to see what Closer does. He was also well known as a really good shot caller, so that as well makes me very excited to see what Closer does coming into this year on the Washington Justice, playing beside Decay. He already worked with Decay on the Dallas Fuel, so now let's see what he does with Mag and Fury, and even Bebe beside him. We've already seen a lot of improvement already with Closer from the open scrim, and I'm just excited to see what he does full-time almost every tournament now coming into the Justice. Now on to number 4. It's a player we also haven't seen in a minute. It is Slime. It's been a hot minute since we've seen Slime play consistently. Obviously, at the start of last season, he played for the Vancouver Titans, then things happened. Went to the Seoul Dynasty, played a couple of maps, wasn't a lot, I should say. Now he's on the Florida Mayhem. I think this guy's going to be a game changer. Hopefully he is a massive upgrade over Chris. We already heard good things about Chris last year, but I do think Slime coming into the Florida Mayhem is going to be a big deal. I do think Slime will fit the playstyle this team does have, and I think he's a perfect fit for this team. Also of shot calling and his Mercy and Lucio play, and even his Brig. We haven't seen his Brig a lot, but I think Slime under Kuki and just beside that team all around is going to be a good thing for Florida Mayhem moving forward, and hopefully Slime does perform. Like I said already, we haven't seen this guy perform consistently in a minute, so we'll see what happens. Now on to number 3, it is Anamo playing for the Seoul Dynasty this year. And as a lot of people say, and I agree with, is that Anamo, I think, fits this team perfectly. You have SBB there. He already had some play time in the open scrim. He really fits this team. Profit. And then you also have Creative, which I think there will be a really good support duo coming into next year. I am very excited to see how Anamo performs at the Seoul Dynasty this upcoming year. With his Mercy and Lucio play is going to be fantastic to see what he does with this team. With Gesture, with 2U now coming into the team, I'm very excited to see what Anamo does. And let's hope it's a good run for Anamo on the Seoul Dynasty. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Then on to number 2 is going to be Moth on the LA Gladiators. This is also a game changer for the LA Gladiators, a back-to-back champion, one of the best shot callers, if not the best shot caller in the Overwatch League, as we've heard from many pro players that played in the Overwatch League these past couple of years has said Moth is the top of the line shot caller in the league. What he does before a game, in game, after maps. He's just someone you want on your team to get everyone straightened out in the game. If there's anything going wrong, he's there to help that. His Lucio play is some of the best in the league. His Mercy play is some of the best in the league that we saw back from Season 1, occasionally Season 2 and 3. I'm very excited to see what Moth does, and now he's on the LA Gladiators, working beside players like Shu, working beside players like Space. Him and Space worked on the World Cup and won the World Cup, so there's a lot of good combinations here coming in at the LA Gladiators, and I think Moth is going to be a big part of their success if they have it, and I definitely think they will, almost guaranteed, because Moth is on this team and Shu's on this team. There's a lot of things going well for the LA Gladiators, and also with Moth being on there is just everything that you want. Then on to the last part I have. Number 1 is FDGod on the San Francisco Shock. This guy has a lot of pressure. I was thinking about FDGod a lot recently on the Shock. This guy definitely may have some pressure on him because you have Moth, who was on the Shock for 3 seasons and a big part of their success of shot calling and his playstyle all around. Now FDGod has to come in and kind of replace Moth, but he's also not the same as Moth, not playstyle wise, and I also don't know if FDGod's a shot caller. So that could be an issue coming into this year for the San Francisco Shock, but who knows? But I do think, though, when it comes to FDGod, his aggressive playstyle is definitely going to help the San Francisco Shock by a lot. The Shock was already a pretty fast team last year, but now that they have FDGod on this team, with his Lucio play and just how aggressive this guy is just another good thing for the Shock. How aggressive they can play, how fast they can play. It's going to be a good run for the Shock if they get everything sorted out. Now, when it comes to the shot calling, I am worried about that because Moth is one of the best shot callers in the game, and you wanted him all the time. He was almost like another coach is what it was like. So FDGod coming in, is he going to be like Moth? I do not know. I'm not that educated on FDGod when it comes behind the scenes if he is a shot caller or not, but there could be other shot callers on the Shock like Smurf, maybe Super if he gets more playtime. You have everyone on your team that could end up being a shot caller. You have Krusty who could decide who could be the shot caller and teach that person as well. So there's a lot of opportunities here when it comes to shot calling, but losing Moth is going to hurt them a lot. But if they get everything sorted out, which I do think will be the case because you have Krusty on this team, you have the coaches that Shock has, anything can be happening here. So that is it for the top 10 video. Those are top 10 main sport players that I myself are looking out for next season. Please keep this in mind once again. These are not ranking top 10 main sport players coming in next year. It's none of that, and it's also not any specific order. Please keep this in mind. If you guys want to do your own top 10, you can put it in the comments down below or put it in the Discord that I have down below as well. If you guys want to stay more in tune to Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.